Okay, we are now recording. Alright, I'll just tell you what it is. Okay, so you have the policy.
Not with me. Exactly, when we get back from the road.
Alright, so while Mr. Duncanson is here, we've got Main Street stop sign.
By all means, I really don't know that much about what you're talking about.
Okay.
I don't know if you and I have really discussed it thoroughly, but yeah. Mr. Chairman, if that's all right, turn to go to the
Yeah.
podium.
Thank you. O.D. Duncanson, I don't know that we've met, Mr. Miller, but long story short, we got a two-way stop sign, Main Street at Criers and Harris. And the town has done a terrific job improving Main Street. It's wonderful. No good deed goes unpunished, and utilize it as a little drag strip, little speedway through there. And my hope is that a four-way stop would slow things down just a little bit. We've solicited the help of the police, and they do a good job, and they patrol frequently, but they can't be everywhere every minute. There's 3 school bus pickups within a stone's throw of this intersection, and so I think they might benefit some as well. Hey,
Hi.
you must be Ms. Jones.
Let me ask you.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have friends that live in your apartment.
Yes, sir.
And I'm trying to picture now. Where are we talking about putting this stop sign? I'm trying to picture it in my head.
Who name one of your friends so I know exactly where you.
Leslie Woodson.
Okay. If you left Mr. Woodson's and you went west,
Taking a left, right?
coming out of his place, you'd be taking a right.
Okay.
And you'd be headed to Mitchell's Restaurant,
Okay.
the top of the hill.
Like there's a stop sign right there on the corner, right?
There's
It's a four-way.
no, not now. No, it's before you're a block before that.
Okay.
If you left Mr. Woodson's and you went toward Mitchell's, one block, you'd be at the corner of Mann and Harris and Criers Road. Criers is the gravel road that dead ends.
Okay, Mr. Miller, I'm sorry, Mr. Duncan. Okay, so if you look at this map right here, I don't know if you can see it up close or not, but, okay, so this is North Main, and then you're turning on Main Street, so right here is like Greens and Wright Auto. So you come in here, the next street is High Street.
That's already a four-way.
Right.
Okay, okay.
And then the next street is Main Street. And it
No,
looks like it does,
Stop signs are on
It's-
Harris.
I mean, Harris Street, and it looks like it does intersect with Criers, right? So it would be four-way there. So Criers is coming off here, and then Harris is here, and then this is Main Street, so it would be right in there.
correct.
Okay. So it's not the, so from.
You
Main-
know, I ride that road 20 times a day. I just can't picture them. You know, like, okay. So go ahead. I mean,
So when you're, so between, Green and that, the first one is High Street, then the next one is
Harris.
Street. Okay.
It's a safety issue. In hopes of slowing people down.
well, I don't have a problem with that. I understand.
Okay.
Plus,
And-
you have a lot of elderly people over there, too.
Well, they're mighty good to me, and I try to be good to them and take care of them. It's the four-way block that people blow through that. You just wouldn't believe it. But anyway, I can't make people stop. I can't do that. And so, but I've got a wonderful tenant on the corner, and he keeps a continuous track of that. And
Good.
Mr. Washington, Billy Washington.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he can tell you some stories about people. The stop sign is not a panacea for everything, but hopefully it'll slow things down a little bit. We can try it anyway.
And when we got to look at some of this ditch, we can ride down that street so you can see exactly where it is. It looks like according to the map, it does all intersect right there, that four-way.
I went down there and
Yes, sir.
I ran into B&E at.
What, so what type, I mean, what would it take? I know it's gotta go before council, but What would it take to get the same?
To make it a three-way stop?
Four.
Four-way stop. What's the intersection?
That's what's got me is this four-way stop.
Because
Well, I'm
Friars
count-
is coming off at the same place as Harris.
I'm
Yeah,
ca-
but I don't think it lines up directly. I think it's not a traditional four-way
Right,
stop.
cause this is
Get
what,
that car-
right, cause this is what I can't figure out, where's the four-way coming? I don't have a
I
problem
think
with
it'll
it.
be a three-way.
I
and
thought
then
that's what it
cars will
would
have a
be.
Stop sign as well, so. but,
Criers has gotta stop.
Right,
Criers and Harris have stopped that, and they do a pretty good job.
but you want to stop Main Street both directions.
I want it in hopes that things will slow down a little bit. I think you missed it. The town's done a great job on Main Street. It's beautiful, nice and wide and smooth, and no good deed goes unpunished. They come down through there.
I think Jennifer may have mentioned that there was a request on the intersection of Hurt, excuse
This is me.
on Dillard and Main.
Here's
that,
Harris, there's currently a stop sign here and here. but not
Ms.
Your neighbor.
Rutledge had
Crier
requested
was like
back in
that.
2014,
Okay. Oh,
and they turned that one down.
they did? Well,
Let's go take a look at it and then we'll figure it out.
okay. Well, if it makes your job any easier, if you want to put it there as opposed to at Harris, whatever will help slow things down, because
Well, the one thing that can slow things down is you can drop the speed limit to, it's 25 miles an hour now, unless it's otherwise posted, and it can otherwise be posted, as we learned on Pickett Court several years ago. If we do a traffic study, then we can come back and say, this rascal, it can be 15 miles an hour, but
Well-
we can't post it less than 25 by state code unless we have a
Traffic.
study saying that.
Right.
Get by qualified traffic engineer.
with all, no disrespect to you, good luck with that. You can't, they're not obeying 25. I can't imagine they'd obey 15, but that's,
You may be right, yeah, the signs are only good as people pay attention to them.
when you're headed to Mr. Woodson's off of Main Street and you stop at that first four-way, and then there's nothing to slow you down till you get to the bottom down there, to the end of Man.
Right, yeah.
Whatever,
We'll go out and look at it this afternoon.
you're the experts, so if anything I can do to help further it along, is there any questions you might have for me? Any other questions you have for me? Okay. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, the next item is the ditch policy.
And instead of writing a whole new one, I'm just gonna make a recommendation on what to do. And this is the current in-place policy that the town has for ditches on public or private property. This was adopted by council in 2015-ish. I just pulled it up on land, I had saved it in a Word doc in 2015, so it's at least that old, okay? But this is what is on the book right now.
You wanna read?
I'll read the section that's most applicable, because I think we got it down on the public shoulder of the road. We can clean those, we can do all those kinds of things without the big stink eye. The stink eye comes in when people come in and say, I want you to work on a private ditch. Okay? And if you look at the last paragraph, requests for cleaning or improving open ditches on private property shall be approved by council on a case-by-case basis. All adjacent property owners shall execute an agreement authorizing improvements, committing themselves to payment in full for the portion of the work conducted on their property. Okay? I would not necessarily say that we need to make it free, but I do think if you want to minimize the number, and this past week, I bet you we've gotten 30 phone calls. If you get people to pay a portion of it, pipe price, wholesale pipe price, like we did Miss Jerry over on Bird Road, Grub. There's a tremendous ditch that ran down between the Grub house and where the woman that works for Candy, you know what I'm talking about? Bonnie Crowder's house. Ms. Grubb bought the pipe. I don't think she bought enough pipe, but she paid based on the quote we gave her, gave us a check, and we put it in. I think the solution to it is not to abandon the private property owners participating in the cost. This says total cost. You could maybe come back to what we did for 25 years in Blackstone, as long as I've been around. It was, you buy the pipe, we put it in. That's how Miss Blevins' pipe, I'm sure got put in years ago. I'm sure that's how most of these pipes on private property. You buy the pipe, we'll stick it in, I bet you I've been involved in 20 of them. When Larry was here, and even when I first started working here, that's how we're doing. But for some reason, I don't know why, but it started in a ditch behind Brian Wright's parents' house. Okay? And when I first got here, Larry had some drawing, you may remember a little bit of it, but right there next to Kempton Forest, they were going, it does float over there. In fact, it floated their culvert pipe getting in. And council voted not to do it because it was on private property. Okay? And that's when private property became a no-no under any circumstance. This was the resulting policy which says they shall pay the whole amount, including a deposit of 1/2 of the estimated cost. I wouldn't get off the part that they have to pay for it. This may be more than you're willing or interested in continuing, but if you do it for free, you'll never stop doing it. If you tell folks it's gonna cost you, I think you will winnow through the project.
So, how much does the pipe cost?
Well, I can tell you, how long was Miss Blevins? 150 feet? That was like a
Yeah,
24-inch
about
culvert.
that.
It was a big culvert.
Mm-hmm.
$23,000 bucks. You put a box in it, new head wall. Pretty pricey. It's $100 a foot.
How much was it?
Install $100 a foot, including the box. If we're assuming it was 200 feet of
So you said 2,300, is that what?
23,000. What we pay
23,000.
trade out.
But I mean, that's not what we charge.
That's not the cost of the pipe.
That's not the
That-
cost.
Right, what's
That's
the
the
cost?
install.
So what was the cost of the
I think
pipe?
you can go on Amazon and look at price of good
I'm
boxes,
trying to
and I
remember
think you can
what
get
we
the price
paid.
probably $20 a foot. I think you can buy a 20-foot stick of 18 or 24-inch pipe for less than $1,000 bucks.
Oh, you can have less than 400 bucks.
There you go, yeah. 24?
So now when,
If it tells you anything, this grub paid $600 for pipe, and it was about 200 feet. And that was a quoted price that, if you remember, Louis Donito was here, and I think she underpaid a little bit, but that was the quoted price we gave. She did pay for a
So-
portion of the pipe.
now when they were doing this policy years and years ago, where the property owner buys the pipe and the town installs.
There was no policy.
Right, but I'm saying what y'all did, that was when the town was actually installing. Now you sub it out.
I sub it all out. Right?
So now it would be way more expensive on the town's end to pay.
Correct. And I can't recommend town go on a lot of private property. I don't think that's really a good way to do things.
So, I mean, what are you actually saying then?
What I'm saying is, stick with what you
Yeah, I
got.
think he's saying stick with this.
Or-
Now, we're at, and what we did with Ms. Blevins would still work with this, provided that the council agreed that this was a case where the town created the problem, the town should fix it.
Okay.
It's-
So we
It
can
really
still-
does have a disclaimer at the top, the council can approve or disapprove
Right.
these on a case-by-case.
Right.
Okay,
basis.
but
And
what
I
I'm saying, so now you're saying that, in which you probably would, you're saying, tell them, okay, you buy the pipe, we'll put it in.
Because right now the policy is, they gotta pay for it all, labor and everything.
Okay.
If you wanna make it a little bit easier for folks to do, you can just go back to you buy the materials and we'll get the install done, and the town will have some cost in it. But I think making it free, the requests are just gonna come all the time. And it's not my water, and man, I get it, you know? I understand, it's not your water, it's not coming necessarily off your yard, it may be coming off 2 blocks up the hill, but that's just the way the water flows. If you wanna pipe it, I don't think making it free is your best policy.
But now, are you gonna have town staff do it?
No,
Then
I
it's gonna
still
be,
have to contract
but then it's
it
gonna
out.
be way more
It's
expensive.
gonna be expensive because we're gonna have to pay for labor. Have to pay for labor. What I want out of that is, I want warranty from the contractor, because I don't wanna continually go back with the town guys and plant more grass. You know what I mean? Oh, there's a hole here, all right. I want that warranty to be handled by the contractor, because I don't wanna have to pull the guys off and have mad property owners if the grass hadn't grown, or it's washed in a spot, or the rock is walked. I can pick up the phone, call that contractor. That's worth something to us, that I don't have to pull damn the guys off of what they're doing to go back and put topsoil and grass seed down because it washed out.
Or we could leave it like it is and they pay for the whole.
Or leave it like it is. But if you would like to make it less painful for folks, you can say you just buy the materials, but at the same time, I don't think you should make it free. It's unbudgetable. You can't even try to determine what the cost is at that point.
So you saying, but if you buy the pipe, we'll,
No, he's saying whatever the cost is, they have to pay half of it.
But if you guys choose to make it a little easier, I'm recommending sticking with the policy you got in place.
Yeah, and then we do it as a case by case. Something comes up like Ms. Blevins or.
Then y'all can decide that, hey, we're gonna do different.
Like what was the
My
other case?
recommendation is leave it.
Agreed.
If council is looking for a way to make it a little more streamlined for people to get it done, we can go back to our old policy, which does say, and Mr. Grubb, since I've been here, paid $600 for pipe, and we put it in down there on Bird Road. But the worst of all would be no cost to anybody, because, man, you're just gonna have a list of them, and we're gonna be doing them forever.
So like the grub, she paid $600 and the town paid $23,000.
No, we paid more than that. G. Lee did it, but we replaced some sewer line in there at the same time, if you remember, we had to cut those big pine trees down, it was a big project. We had a sewer line that continually backed up behind Bonnie Crowder's house and backed up into her basement. Everybody knows the reason the whole thing got started was Bonnie Crowder, a big chunk of grease came down the sewer line from somewhere up Gravit area or Maven area, and it was a block of grease, looked like a bear cub that gotten stuck in the pipe. And all the sewer found the path of least resistance, and that was Bonnie Crowder's washing machine. And it flooded her basement with about 8 inches of sewage, and it filled her washing machine up. So we had to fix the sewer. At the same time, Ms. Grubb was after us about doing the ditch. And I went to her and I said, Bonnie, I need to do this. And she said, oh, while you're doing that, I'll give you whatever easement you need and whatever you need to get in there, but I want to do the pipe.
And what was wrong with the pipe at the time?
None, it was an open ditch.
Oh, it was just a ditch.
It was just a wide
Ms.
open
Grubb
ditch.
wanted the ditch closed
She
up.
wanted the ditch closed up, and she said, I'll give you the easement that you need, and I didn't have to pay her for easement. And she gave us $600, but the project was done by J. Lee. And
It
it
was
was,
probably some 50-some thousand.
it was like $48,000, and I had to pay a bunch of money, but we had to do the sewer anyhow. We had to place a manhole and level out the sewer, and we put a drop stack on it, which means it'll fill up that manhole. That's the detention pond. If that line ever fills up, it'll fill up that manhole and run out the top of the manhole before it'll go back in Bond's house. And we put a check valve in her line and all that sort of thing. But it poo-pooed her house. That cost the town $10,000 to replace all of it. Remember, she gave us that big list of Christmas trees and board games and, yeah. So, my recommendation is stay where you got. If you do wanna make it easier, do collect for materials. And you can go back to that if you choose to, on private property. But doing it on a case-by-case basis with no cost to the property owner, as a matter of policy, is a mistake. But you do have the authority as council to still make your decisions on a case-by-case basis. On Ms. Blevins or Phillip Arms or any of these other properties. That's what I
Where are
would.
we with Phillip Arms? Wasn't that one gonna cost like $80,000 or something? And
We're going,
we basically.
we're taking a bite on that thing with the second phase of East End on some drainage project. So we're gonna see if there's a way we can still help the situation. I don't know if we can do the whole thing, but there is work to that ditch line that's supposed to be done upstream, and we may be able to include that. My recommendation is leave it policy as is. And that's not because I wrote it. But I do think people have to have skin in the game, or you guys will all be running around filling in ditches nonstop. Right?
Yeah, I know I got skin in
You get all these.
what do you think, Tom?
You smoking, but you better stop.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, because as long as it, it says on case by case, we can make a decision.
Council
So
still has the right to
we can still
override any.
say, even though this is
decision.
policy, if we believe that it's something that we created or that we should have to fix, then we can say that.
But for a matter of when people call me, I can come back and say, this won't cost you blah, 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 amount of money. It'll nip some of them in the bud pretty quick. And if I tell them $23,000, I tell them $42,000, ooh, slow. If you wanna make it less of a blow to people, then the material part of it, or council can vote. Well, we've decided on this one because it's so expensive, as long as you buy the material, then we'll put it in. It gives you the flexibility.
Well, what advantage is that? If they buying it and we still putting $50,000 into the.
You can put the labor in there. It's
Right.
still gonna be a price.
So-
Yeah.
Only thing you said, if you do that, then you get a guarantee that all this grass and stuff will be right?
Having a contractor do it, yeah,
Right.
I prefer to have the warranty on it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So it could be that somebody pays $600 for a pipe, but
It costs
that's putting
$50,000.
$20,000
Yeah,
Could very well.
yeah.
And the town was spending money putting it in before, it just wasn't cash out of pocket. It wasn't like I was paying a contractor a check, I was giving the guys a check and work on private property, or Larry was years ago. So, I think you leave it like it is, and then it gives you the ability to make decisions as council on a case by case basis. And you have that anyhow, I mean, you can override any daggone policy that we got, it's not an ordinance or anything.
Okay. Well, I was just,
Y'all wanna make a motion?
I make a motion that we leave it as it is.
Leave as is, okay. All in favor?
All right.
All right.
Well, you know what the Castle's trailer park is down there?
Where it was, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, this lady, Tammy Patterson,
Okay.
has two big holes in the yard. And one of the holes has got a fitting coming up out of it. And it's just big holes there. And somebody has put, the cones up there.
I have to check it out, I don't know what
And
that
then
is,
the
but I'll
front
find
yard, because when you walk in the front yard, out there where she looks like steps, there's another big hole in her yard, and there's black pipe.
What street is she on?
She's right there on the corner of
Man,
Main Street.
On Main Street, okay. I'm gonna go look at it, I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll go over on her.
yeah, we're gonna drive right by it now, probably. Yeah,
I'll go check it
yeah.
out.
the other thing is the Luke Street ditch.
We need to go look at it, and I'll give you the breakdown on that. It is,
The bus is out front, do you wanna just,
we can, bus, but, it's related to the Nottaway Avenue curb and gutter and sidewalk project. And I'll explain to you that Tyrone Bond that lives on Nottaway Avenue,
Mm-hmm.
he and his mother both had to sign an easement for us to put that sidewalk all the way down Nottaway Avenue. And he was very agreeable. He said, but man, I need you to look at this ditch back here in the back of my place.
Is that the one all the way down near Cole Harbor?
No,
Not quite, but on the, going to Cool Harbor on the left.
Yeah.
And when it was raining real hard the other day, trash and pine tags had gotten on the drain. It was backing up literally to the foundation of the house. I did tell him at the time, all right, if you sign this easement, I'll get this thing opened up and then I'll get it working, and if I need to pipe it in, I'll do what I gotta do. So I told him all bright and shiny. Then I carried the street committee down there and it voted down. No, you can't do it. Cause I could not prove that the ditch was in the alley, cause there's an alley goes through there, and I hadn't surveyed it. So the street committee at that time turned it down and council voted it down. But Mr. Bond ain't forgot, and I ain't gonna tell you anything other than I told him I was gonna work on that ditch.
So
And
you did have it surveyed?
I can have it surveyed.
Oh, it never was.
Never surveyed. Do I know the alleys in the middle of in the alley? I don't know that. And
Off the top of your head, what do you think it would cost?
that's gonna be expensive, Brian. We gotta work on some better ways, because all that trash and stuff that comes down that ditch in front of Ephraim's
Yeah.
house, it goes right on top of a flat grate.
Right.
And man, we gotta figure out a better way to get that water in that ditch, because that's what's causing it. And then the downstream is just a daylighted pipe that comes up out of the ground, and we gotta create some sort of reasonable way to keep pine tags and this from getting in there. And I don't know the answer, but I did tell Mr. Bond I would work on that ditch and get it straightened out for him so it wouldn't flood. But sadly, the same thing came up, and it was a private ditch, and the street committee voted, Mr. Van Overy, we don't want you going in there. But I did tell him, yeah, we'll work on it. I got you in a jam, but no, we'll go take a look at it, and maybe full of water again. But it was ugly Monday or Tuesday whenever we had a bunch